A lot of men have finally found the cheat code for this dating game. As you all know, the dating game right now is a mess. Chivalry is dead, and marriage is dying. How can men win? MGTOW, that's the cheat code. Men going their own way.
I only want you for the money and the clothes and for the bills. That's it. If you ain't getting my hair done, if you ain't getting my nails done, if you ain't doing nothing for me, then I don't need you here. It's not 50-50. It's not 80-20. It's 100% to 0.
It's one side. Look, that's why American relationships are failures. That's why American women, on a global context, are the worst for relationships, long-term period. That's why the divorce rate is the highest in the world here. And that's why, on the desirability level, American women are at the bottom of the global barrel. This is all statistically documented from men, because at the end of the day, the ones who decide if a woman is valuable for a relationship is men.
Well, the man is the person that's going to have to, obviously,
Concede,
propose and buy the ring and all that stuff.
Give them the ring.
Real
Exactly.
quick.
I really do believe that modern feminism encourages male absence. It encourages it because it's become toxic. They use terms like toxic masculinity, right? And I say to myself, all of their examples of the idea of what it means to be a man now is toxic. They think, oh, this is a man. Masculinity is wrong. There's something inherently wrong with being a masculine man. And to me, I always say that it was toxic masculinity that saved me. You know, I had a healthy fear of my grandfather. Nobody played around with my grandfather. We still don't play around with my grandfather, you know, and it's just, there's a certain level of respect when you're in his home. There are rules. And because I had that healthy fear, I was, I guess, more responsive to that sort of authority when I had to go out in real life. You know, I believed in structure. And yet this version of feminism today, we have women that are basically promoting men should act like women, right? Yeah. And women should act like men. There's all of this confusion. You can pick your gender, you can do what you want. And ultimately what I think it's doing is feeding into this idea of a breakdown of the family.
Modern women are just too hot to touch now, too expensive and too risky. We've observed equality come into play, and we want it to be effective not just where it is convenient to women, but across all aspects of life. Women have for years clearly expressed, or otherwise made it clear, that they want nothing to do with the vast majority of men. And lots of men have internalized that message. Women hate and ignore the vast majority of men, and go for guys who in turn ignore them. Then when women are older and get tired of sleeping around, they turn around to the guys whom they've ignored, degraded and belittled out of spite. And most guys have spent their teens and 20s left out in the cold when it comes to dating and relationships. When most guys spend their teens and 20s being repeatedly rejected and constantly ignored, they go into their 30s with the presupposition that she wants nothing to do with them, because that's all they know. From the average man's perspective, here is this woman who never wanted him before and never gave him the time of day and has ignored him for years. The man is thinking, oh, I'm sorry. Do I suddenly exist now? Are you done having your fun, and now you think you're entitled to my time and my money and my energy after ignoring me and taking me and most others for granted for so long? The average man is simply going to walk off and avoid women because they have told men to kick rocks. Thank goodness I'm not on the dating scene anymore, because I pity the guys who have to walk the minefield of women who like strong, confident men but don't want ones who are controlling. Or women who want equality in everything, but still expect the man to pay for the dinner and hold the doors open for her and ask her out, and generally just be a man. Or want the guy to make the first move but don't want to be forced into anything. So now he has to be a mind reader too. I suppose for a lot of guys, the cost benefit is not there. While I am on my rant, I've heard so many women tell stories about the creepy guy who wouldn't leave her alone. I'm sure there are some creeps out there, but I'm equally sure there are women who like telling stories about all the guys they shot down. When men try to talk to women online especially, the majority of women ignore them or treat them rudely or shut them down. Yet women expect men to approach them as if they are special and with careful thought and with original lines, and spend hours writing elaborate, thoughtful introductions. Men are expected to do this for all 99 out of 100 women who completely ignore them, act all high maintenance, and are rude. You can't do that. You will waste many, many hours just trying to find one woman who is willing to just have a normal conversation to see if they're even compatible. Instead, Women want butt kissers and liars to flame their egos and to pay for stuff. Better to be single because once you get a woman, they are a pain in the ass. I personally find dating an absolute slog. You ask them out, and they don't give you a straight no. Instead, they tell you yes. And then when it comes time to put something together, all of a sudden, it's like they're busier than a beehive. Then you finally get someone to go out with you, and making conversation is like pulling teeth. You get one-word answers to everything, and they have no interest in anything remotely interesting. The ladies don't put the slightest effort into it. The problem is not with the men, it is with the women. The women are taking their cues from modern movies and don't know how to uphold their side of the equation in courtship. There are a lot of women who only want to use men for free food and drinks, whilst having sex with another man. That, and our modern society, doesn't value men as much as in the past. Women get their pick of who they want to date, and in terms of love and relationships, the majority of men are left out in the cold. There is no incentive for most men to invest time and effort into the woman they are with, because she can just trade him up for someone who has more, and unless he is a perfect man who is the whole package, there is always someone who has more. After 30, most men realize that women don't care about them as a person, but as a resource. That age is also getting lower, and lower as the years go by. When men finally get ahead, they will get to pick and choose who they get to be with, on their own terms and not hers. Most men will put themselves first because they know that she won't, and that she will still follow them if they're selfish. Being kind and supportive gets you nowhere with the female gender, no matter how much they insist otherwise. Also, women have castrated men and made them bad. To hit on a woman is akin to opening yourself up for attack. You can be labeled any kind of nasty thing. We don't even know how you would react if we opened the door for you. Showing any kind of interest in a woman can be considered sexual harassment. It's gone way overboard. They did a study where the woman dressed up as a man and hit on a group of women. He was rudely sent away. Then the same woman came back as a lesbian, clearly hitting on the women, and they were more kind with their rejection of the offer. It ain't fair, it ain't right, and it needs to stop. The only way to win an impossible game is to not play. That's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time. Cheers.